Hey, this is Eli Campbell. You know, Steamboat is renowned worldwide for skiing, biking, and all that our natural playground has to offer. We're fortunate, though, that the natural beauty here attracts more than just outdoor enthusiasts. From local legends to world-class acts, amazing musicians regularly play the venues in our little corner of Northwest Colorado. Join me as I explore the stories and experiences of these talented artists who bring unforgettable performances to Steamboat. This is your Steamboat Soundcheck. Welcome to the Steamboat Soundcheck podcast. Eli Campbell here with you. Our podcast presented by McCreight Progressive Dentistry and Ski Haus of Steamboat. I'm excited today. I'm going to be joined by a man who's kicking off our favorite summer tradition. The Summer Free Concert Series starts June 21st. Andy Frasco is with me. How are you doing?
What's up, bud? Just chilling. Finally home. I've been on the road for like 3 months. I'm finally set. I got in last night and I normally go out. I'm like, I'll go out. And I said, no, I had food delivered to me. And I just sat in silence in a dark room. I was like, I'm never gonna have this. I'm in my house by myself. This is fucking crazy, dude.
Sometimes it's when you're in the silence in the dark that the best ideas come to you. You start to
Oh,
really,
dude.
think just for yourself once and for all.
Yeah, everyone thought Bane was and I like Bane from Batman. Yeah, I think he was. I was born in the darkness. You know? He was. I don't think he was as bad as everyone thought he should have been. But
Yeah.
what can you do?
Well, as we were talking right before we press record on this, you're coming back to Steamboat, great little mountain town here in Northwest Colorado. You've been playing here a lot. You played Winter Wondergrass back in 2024. You played the Snow Bowl stage last summer. Now the Free Concert Series, some of our favorite stages, our biggest stages. Colorado always seems to be a regular stop on your tour. But what is it about this state and specifically about Steamboat that brings you back every time?
I mean, I moved to Denver 5 years ago, and this is the first state that I feel like it's my home. They've been having my back. I mean, I remember playing Schmegedies 12 years ago, and not having a lot of money and saying, "Well, I don't have a show in 4 days." And they're like, "Well, stay at my house." And we started hanging out in the community. It's like I'm a person who, even if I ever, as our as our star continues to rise, I don't forget the people that took care of us. And like I said before, I've been doing 250 shows a year for the last, I don't know, almost 15 years. And Colorado is the first time I've ever had roots, and it's my home. So I
Yeah.
don't want to, I never want to take that for granted. And I'm always going to keep coming back to the people who took care of me since the beginning.
And Kim and Pat over at Schmigady's, they
The
are
best,
always great
dude.
to work with, putting the musicians up in their little extra house and making sure to treat you guys right, which I think helps bring people back to Steamboat.
I mean, yeah, and that's what real community is. It's like that's why people love to come back to Steamboat. That's why people love to play all those shows. And like I'm excited to play. This is the first time they gave me the nod. I think they finally said you're mature enough so you could play for the kids. All right, cool. But I heard it's
Yeah.
a nice event. It's pretty big, right?
Yeah, it's always a fun event. It's a little bit more of a town hall as much as it is a concert. We get a lot of families out there. People who don't even know who the music is are always going to come out just because it is a community event. And I've been to some of your shows before. They can get a little raucous, a little crazy. So
Yeah.
this show, like you said, it's a little maybe mature for some of what you've done. Are you going to change your approach, or are you
I
still
mean,
bringing that same energy?
I'm gonna bring the same energy, but I'm also like 37 years old now. I don't need to talk about drugs and partying, I'm just kind of over that part of my life, and I'm also not on drugs anymore. So I'm not really gonna like it's a kids show, and my music has been more attainable. Everyone's bringing their kids now, so I don't want to take that for granted, and I want to be part of the community too. And they finally gave me the nod to play the big show, and I'm not taking that for granted. So I want to bring
Yeah.
the show I can.
Well, and I know Steamboat loves you, and I wanted to ask you a little bit about the Snowball show that you played last summer because I heard a rumor that
your writer included a request for puppies backstage, and Snowball actually made it happen. And I've heard
Oh
some,
my God, they
wild
brought
requests.
puppies, dude.
Yeah, Van Halen famously, would have M&Ms, but you had to pick all the brown ones out, and that was what they said was to see if anyone was actually paying attention. Is that the same for you, or is it just because life is better with puppies? And how many people actually come through with that?
A little bit of both. People are creative with it, but also like I was thinking like, man, like sometimes like we'd do like it'd be like show 50 and 60 days and the dopamine level is just at an all-time low. And we're like, what can we do to like kind of get our dopamine level? So I snuck in like puppy petting zoo or something. And people started doing it. I'm like, oh my God. And everyone's like trying to like they know that's part of our writers, so everyone's trying to like they had like a goat petting zoo once. Like they had like it was cool. But then if like the ones who don't they're cute with it, they'll put a box of like toy puppies, you know?
Yeah.
I like
I mean, you give a lot of venues the chance to deliver because, like you said, you're constantly on the road. You play up to 250 shows a year. One of your recent collaborations, the song Circus Life with Mahali, who's going to be in town later this summer, kind of talks a lot about that nomadic town to town lifestyle. And you have to constantly find whether it's puppies or what else to ways to kind of keep going out there on the road. How do you keep it fresh after so many thousands of shows?
you got to realize that home is the present moment. And it takes a lot of toll on people who like have lives outside of their travel life when they have kids and they have families who are just like "Hey, come home," so it's hard to like get get back into the present moment. For me, I'm fortunate or maybe not fortunate enough to never had anybody. So or like choose that life because this is my dedication. I dedicate my whole life to entertaining people and being the glue to a community and try to break that fourth wall. Um, that the listener and the artist can be like this. And I've it's all I care about. It's all I think about is trying to make the show the best it can be and keep growing. So through that, I have to feel safe in my brain so I don't feel like I have to like deal with anything else. So I try to make the green rooms our little home. And then now that we've been playing at all these venues for years now. Now they know us and like giving us hugs and making us cookies and stuff. And we're going over to the owner's house for dinner. And it's a community. And it's a very hard on, it takes a hard, it's that 2 hours you have to look forward to, but that other 22 hours can fucking hurt and sucks. Driving 10 hours a day, eating shitty food, dehydrating, pickling yourself, all that stuff kind of hurts. It hurts. Yeah. And just so we could live for those 2 hours. So I never want to take those 2 hours for granted. So if I can make the venue my home for the day and they feel, that's what we're here for. We're all in this together.
And what is impressive to me is in the midst of all that, you keep the energy, you do that for the 2 hours of the day, but in all that chaos of travel and shows, you're also a pretty avid podcaster yourself. You've cranked out over 320 episodes of the World Saving Podcast, which is unbelievable. Is that kind of a therapy for you too, being able to talk so openly with other musicians who are kind of riding that same emotional roller coaster and living the dream that you are?
Yes. When I tried to quit blow the first time, I was too afraid to go to therapy and I was too afraid to actually just talk about my feelings. I'm normally a guy who suppresses my own things and I always try to give advice to everyone else and I realized that's not authentic. So I had to figure out a way. So I would start talking to my old OG musicians like Vince Herman, George Porter, Keller Williams, and just talk through it. I'm like, and it helped me so much. I'm like, why don't we just record these conversations so our fans could have that same healing I got? Because I know we're not alone in fucking depression, and people feel like they have to suppress. how they feel because they don't, especially with this like internet or Instagram, social media era where it's an echo chamber of happiness, even if you're not happy, that people are afraid to be sad. So I was like, let's fucking dig deep and show these fans that these artists are going through this shit. And my as you could tell, my workaholicness, I said, all right, cool. Well, I'm gonna do it every week. And because I think the people need it, and I need it. I need to talk to people, It's like it's hard to go to therapy. It's scary to go to therapy, but being a friend is just as therapeutic, and I'm not really close with a lot of these guys, so it's more like a stranger therapy session. So if I could do my little part to try to help people get out of their heads through the podcast and work a little extra for that, um, it's worth it in the long run.
Yeah, and I know that you're someone that has kind of dealt with some of those issues of mental health and depression and things like that, but you've always been able to keep an optimism about your music. That's what drew me to your music. When you look at songs like Change of Pace or Believe That, there's always this kind of hope. And even when you're dealing with the mental health or depression or drug addiction stuff, there's kind of a hope beyond the messages you're dealing with. You just released your 10th studio album, Growing Pains. And I'm listening to songs like Try Not to Die or Life is Easy, and it still has that hope, but it's sprinkled with a whole lot of sarcasm in there. And I'm wondering if that's really something about like kind of living in a world that's so chaotic right now, or if it's just, as you mentioned, as we're getting older, we're maturing, it's simply just harder to be as idealistic as we once were in our 20s.
Yeah, I think you nailed it on the head. Or it's just like laughing about how we perceived life when we were a kid, that it was all going to be rainbows and butterflies, but really it's all smoke and mirrors. So how do we find the happiness in the gray, and I think happiness isn't black and white. It's those inside, those grays of, oh yeah, everyone's telling me the world's on fire, but I'm playing Steamboat Springs and there's birds chirping and shit. Like what the like we can't take for granted that we live in a community that we could be able to do that. We have to see the bad, but we can't marinate in all the bad. We need to enjoy our life too, because we're lucky enough to be able to enjoy it. Who knows? Maybe like we're like Rashanishis and we get 20 lives, and then we'll have to deal with the real shit. Like this is our good year, and then we have to go back to the fucking like, maybe we're like a cockroach or something, So we got to take it. We got to be appreciative that that we made it to do this. So
Make the most of what you can when you can.
exactly, through the sarcasm, let's smile, because what are you gonna do? We're just gonna like just live in a fucking hole and just be scared of everything, or we're just gonna be like, yep, this could all end tomorrow. At least we're at the Steamboat Springs summer concert Saturday.
Let's make it through that then, and then
Yeah,
it can
yeah.
all end.
Let's smile. I think about like people like the Europeans dealing with like World War I, where there was no communication. They just heard blood splattering and mud and just things in the horizon. Like the Irish people are like the like, oh yeah, so yeah, oh good, we go drink Guinness. It's like whatever. They get us, they get us. Like,
Yeah.
it's we have to kind of have that desensitizing life a little bit. And I know it's sad to say, but it's just we weren't we weren't supposed to know everything that the world is. Like we only used to know about our community. And now that we made the earth so much smaller, we have to be considerate of it and try to fight for things. But there's also things that are just out of your control. It's like you're just an ant too.
Yeah,
So
and I think, when you're talking about the song Life is Easy, it's like we're making up problems that, when you really think about it,
right.
life is not that hard for us when you look back at what people in the past have gone through. And on that song, it's a stacked lineup. You've got Billy Strings, who also played our free summer concerts here back in 2019, Daniel Donato, who's playing the free concert in July. Curious when you came together for that song. Is that one of those deals where everyone was in the studio together, or was that something where everyone's kind of doing their parts and mailing it in? Because you're all so busy with different lives and new fatherhood for Billy and things like that.
Yeah. I wrote that song with Steve Poltz and Chris Gelbuta, and it just turned into a jam band gangbang, I guess. I have no idea. But I I first called Billy. It was just really random, man. I was in Nashville. He saw one of my like motivational Monday posts and texted me. It's like, man, I really resonated with that. I was like, I'm in Nashville. He's like, dude, I invited him to my house. Yeah, he invited me to his house, and we kind of like we're just shooting the shit about how hard it is being a musician sometimes, and even for him, he's on the top of the world. It's still even lonelier because he can't even go outside. And I'm like, and then I was like, don't tell him because I don't like asking for help. I'm never when a guy for clout. I just put my head down, just fucking do the work. I'm like, Billy, I wrote a bluegrass song. He's like, "What? You wrote a bluegrass song?" I'm like, yeah, can I show it to you? And I thought I was gonna just like shit on him. I'm starting a band. We're gonna call it Jewgrass. I'm just kind of throwing these jokes on him. He's like, you're not doing that. I was like, cool, respect. And then I show him the song, and he just resonated so much, and he recorded on it. He has a studio in his house. We want like you walk through this like hidden fucking bookcase and you push a door and it's the Billy Strings fucking studio. I'm like, holy shit. I'm like, don't fanboy, don't fanboy, don't I was like, and he just recorded on it, sent it to me. He's like, man, I appreciate it. I'm like, and then he didn't have to put his name on it, and he did. And like, that's this community. That's what I'm saying. Like, we all have each other's back. Then I asked Donato to record on it. And then I realized the bass was wrong on the bass. So I just texted Mike Gordon. I'm like, I don't know, we're kind of friends. He's been to come. I'm like, hey Mike, you want to? And he said yes. And he sent me the track. And all of a sudden there's like fucking five fucking people on it. I'm like, fuck it, let's just make it a jam band gangbang and let's keep it moving.
It's a great song, and I'm excited to see all your new stuff live here this weekend. Like we said, free concert series on Saturday, June 21st. Not only our kickoff to the series, which is our town hall, our community event, favorite event of the summer, but also it's the summer solstice on Saturday. So hopefully that brings you a little extra energy for the show this weekend.
Summer solstice. Isn't that like, ooh, that's scary, dude. Isn't it like that's when your brain starts going a little crazy? Like, ah.
Maybe it's that next day. We just make it through Saturday. You have the longest day of sunlight, and then everything gets darker from there on out.
Summer solstice. I'm thinking of like Jupiter.
Oh,
Stuff.
of the alignments of the planets and all those things. Yeah.
Summer solstice is tight. That means we can hang out and party on the street late.
Yeah, we'll have a lot more sunshine for your encore. So
I look forward to it, man. I'm really excited to do this, and I love Steamboat, so it's gonna be nice to. It's always I gotta keep going. It's only 2 hours away. I gotta just go during
yeah,
the week.
come
What's
up
happening?
anytime. Just, come up, show up on the corner of the street and start jamming.
I'll be like, yeah. I'll be like, Kim, I need the house. Give me the code. And I'm just busking on the street, like, Andy, what the fuck you doing out there?
I'm sure we can make that happen though.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Cool. Well, I want to thank you for joining me today. It's been a lot of fun. Andy Frasco playing the Summer Free concerts. Get the full lineup at keepingitfree.com. Thank you.